Okay, brothers and sisters, this is Brother Lewis, Quiz Access Chapter 4, Problem 9. Several of you have asked about this, so I figured I'd just do a video on it. This is testing your ability to understand how all of these calculations work. So you have various scenarios where you have data and you have missing data. So what do we do to fill in the blank, right? That's really what this is all about. So let's take a screenshot of this. Let's take a screenshot of it first, and we'll go over to our good old friend Excel and work this out. So let me, since I can't scrape the information off, I will just go ahead and take a screenshot of it. I will replicate it in Excel. Okay, whoops, it can't be displayed. It won't let me replicate it. So let's do it the old-fashioned way. Let's do a side-by-side. There we go, side by side, snipped. Let's make this bigger. We got sales. We got cost of goods sold, which is made up of merchandise. This is called beginning. We'll truncate this beginning. We've got purchases. We've got ending, and we've got COGS. That's how they're coming up with COGS. We got gross profit. We got expenses. We've got net income. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to work through just a scenario, the first one, and then we'll fill out the rest as we go. So A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. So sales is 67,000, right? Beginning is 7,600. Cost of purchases 3,100. So merchandise inventory ending. Good question. We got COGS of 33,840, right? Gross profit, don't know. Expenses of $20,000. And so let me put these into a little easier to view. Okay. So first of all, gross profit is an easy one, right? Because gross profit is your sales minus your cost of goods sold. And your net income is your gross profit minus your your expenses. Okay, so that's the easy part. So the real trick then is, well, how do I figure out my ending balance for cost of goods sold, right? Well, what was our cost of, see, beginning plus purchases minus sales equals ending. So it should be something like that. So I'm trying to figure out ending. I should be able to just take beginning plus purchases minus cost of goods sold. So let's see if that works. Plus beginning plus the purchases minus the sales gives me an ending of that, which doesn't quite work, right? Ooh, well, that's because this is 31,000. There we go. My ending should be now 47,600. We'll test this out in just a second, okay? Just to make sure if I've done any of this wrong, you'll see it for sure. So so B is 43,100. Beginning is 16,690. We don't know what the purchases are, but we know the ending to 2,400, and we know the COGS of 19. We don't know gross profit. We do know expenses, 10,850. So our net income should be, and we're going to keep these as on all the calculations. We're going to keep just exactly as a calculation. The reason being, because then we can check our work, right? And this is a nice checkpoint. If you don't have any checkpoints, then you're like, well, how did I get it right? Okay, so now that we got our checkpoints in place, let's see, we have to figure out total cost of purchases. So in the same deal, if we wanted to figure out purchases, this would be purchases equals ending, let's call it, minus beginning plus sales. Just moving the formula around. So now on this one, let's take that approach. Ending is 2,400. Well, let's do it straight up. 2,400 minus the beginning plus the sales. So that should be 4,710 in purchases. Okay, we'll see if that worked. On C, 5,300 or 53,000, we got 6,400. We don't know what our purchases are. We do know what ending is. We know what COGS. We don't know what COGS is. Ooh, big question. But we know what gross profit is. And we know what expenses are, 13,150. Oh, by the way, did I make that right? Close enough. Okay. So since we don't know, we have two variables in here that are a little bit difficult, right? So let's get gross profit to the right number. So to get it to the right number, then we know that the 14,750 is what we're targeting, right? So 53, let's see, equals 53,000, which is what we currently have, minus 14,750 will give us what our number should be in COGS, right? And voila, what do you know? Gross profit is correct. Expenses minus expenses gives us a net income. So we know that these parts are right. And since we already have the calculation for purchases, we can just copy this over here. And that's what our purchases was for C. Now D, we're going to do this a little bit differently, but 7,700, we don't know what sales are, 7,700 in beginning, 42,000 in purchases. Our ending is 8,100. So we don't know where our COGS is. We do know what our expenses are, 6,000. Okay. So now the big question is, whoa, how do I figure all this stuff up backwards? We're on D, right? Oh, I do know what gross profit is. I know what gross profit is. Ah, brilliant. Kind of. Let's think through this. This is the multi-step one. We won't be able to figure out sales until we figure out cost of goods sold. But cost of goods sold in this, let's see, we'll change this to say COGS, right? That's the sale part. And it'll make it a little bit easier to follow what I'm doing. COGS, okay? So now if we want to figure out COGS, let's just stick with this one right here. We'll do purchases minus ending plus beginning equals COGS. All right, so for COGS, we want to take our purchases, no, excuse me, either way, our purchases, let's do this in correct order. Let's do this in correct order. So it makes it a little bit more logical. Beginning plus purchases minus ending equals COGS. Okay, there we go. That's a better formula. I mean, it's all the same, but I just put it in the logical format. So let's go here and we'll say beginning plus our purchases minus our ending has to be what our COGS is. Okay, but now we have a big old fat negative gross profit, which isn't right. So we have to get net income, well, even gross profit. We have to get gross profit to 49,000. So what we could do is, we know we need 49,000. for sure. And we need to bring this, we need to cover this up. So we need to bring this 41 negative to at least a 0. So we're going to add that in, 41,600. So now we should have the right numbers, 990, 77427. Ending's wrong. Did I do the formula still? Yeah, the formula's still there. Okay. So this is, let me go back here. I mistakenly had a number in there. Okay, so now it's the other way around. So I know I need 49,300. Oops. 49,300 plus 42,500 in order to zero that gross profit out. So now my number should be right. 774272 equals COGS of 42,500, gross profit of 49,300, 600, 43,300. Looking all good so far. These were our check numbers, so we're good. Okay, this one should be the easy one, hopefully. 24,300, 43,20, 6,300. Don't know what ending is. I do know what COGS is, and I do know my expenses. All right. So hopefully now we just have to figure out ending. Oh, we already got ending right here, right? So ending equals beginning plus purchases minus COGS, 4320. Okay, so now with all this, we should have all of the information we need. Let's go check it out. Go here. Actually, let me put this over here as well so I can, oops, wrong side of the screen. Let's do there. Okay, and we'll bring this over a little bit. Well, we know the lines, so we're fine. Okay, so let's make this one. This is supposed to be ending 4760. This one's supposed to be 33,160. This one's supposed to be 13,160. Purchases on this is 4710. Gross profit is 24,100. Purchases is 39,950. Cost of goods sold 38,250. Sales here is 91,800. Cost of goods sold is 42,500. Ending is 4320. That's gross profit 18,000. And this should be 11,100. Okay. The moment of truth. Did I get this right? Bam. All right. Okay, so a couple different ways of working through this, right? Remember, this is probably parts of the hard part, just making sure you understand the variations of how to calculate the variable, and then, or the missing number, and then also having your checkpoints, right? Making sure that you just put in a calculation so that you can always get to that number or make sure that that number is correct. That is how I would approach these types of problems, especially for problem 9 in the quiz access. It's exercise 4.1. All right, take care.